The Be Quiet Pure Base 500 DX, coming in at a current price tag of $129.14. If at any point during the video you want to check out this exact same product, there's Amazon links below. Now, the design of this case from the exterior, but also continuing on to the interior during the building process, is just much more refined and overall just a little bit more special. Being an airflow case, the front is mesh, but it has included RGB strips in the front that are actually nicely diffused. Do keep in mind, I'm not talking about like, oh, some like little RGB strips. No, I'm talking about literal RGB, like case RGB strips. They're gonna glow your case up. That's a huge pro. The top dust cover has its own custom shroud, making the top look a lot more premium. The side glass panel goes all the way to the bottom, also looking more premium. This also features a full sliding magnetic dust cover for the entire bottom, which I will say has quite a bit of airflow through the bottom, which is impressive. Although maybe not the best if you're putting your PC on a carpet. So get your PC off that carpet. One thing that I do wish is that they put bottom mounting fan locations under the GPU for downward airflow, as this would have been perfect for that. So I think that is slightly a little bit of an oversight, but overall not a big deal overall. One last thing to mention about design that's kind of cool is that the power supply actually has like a shroud around it that has thumb screws. You take those off and you can directly put your power supply straight into the case that way, rather than putting it through the side. That's kind of cool. Maintenance, it makes it easier. If you need to plug in some cables, you can take off that shroud, pull it out slightly, plug in your cable a little bit easier, and then push it right back in. I mean, it's just a little bit of a quality of life thing. I think that's really cool. Now for color options, this either comes in black or white. And let's talk about the included fans and RGB because, well, it's kind of cool here. First, it comes with 3 non-RGB, so no RGB, but they're 140mm Be Quiet fans. These are the Pure Wings too. So actually like legitimate fans, not just some like cheap case fans. These have legitimate airflow here, and they're nice and quiet because they have that Be Quiet design. Now, these fans alone are enough to give you intake on the front and a 140mm exhaust fan. If you're not running the highest end GPU, this will honestly be enough airflow for you if you do have a CPU cooler or an AIO. For included RGB, again, you have that dual RGB diffuse strip at the front of the case, which connects with these little pins on the front cover, but you also get a hidden RGB strip facing downwards mounted on the top of the case lengthwise right above that glass panel. That gives you a really nice glow inside the case to highlight all of your components. So even though you're not getting those RGB fans here, you can buy those and then put them in afterwards and still have some extra 140mm fans, maybe for the top of your case, but you're getting some RGB on the case in the front, which looks really awesome. And then you're getting literal an RGB strip inside, pre-mounted, super easy. So great here. I really do like that. However, let's talk about airflow temps and the overall noise here, which is a big deal. As you would expect, Be Quiet is gonna be fairly silent here, and well, it is. From 12 inches away, not under heavy load, just like browsing the web, this is ultra quiet, way under 30 decibels, which is, I mean, this is a whisper. You literally can't even hear it. Part of this is aided in the fact that Be Quiet actually added a sound dampening pad to the entire back panel, which is absolutely awesome. And to mention that these tests are done with the included fans, plus 2 more 140mm Be Quiet light wings added to the front, so replace those, and then a 360mm radiator. With fans on full at 12 inches away, this is hitting 52.4 decibels, which is really loud. But do keep in mind that the fans that I put on here spool very high. So that's every fan at full. Most of the time it never got there, just under normal gaming load. So actually like under load, it never got to 52.4, which is very loud. I do want to blame that on the huge fans that I put in here. But it's a good thing that you know that it can pull the airflow even if it doesn't need to. Now, being an airflow case accepting 140mm fans basically everywhere, temps were absolutely fantastic on this. Not really something that you're gonna need to be worrying about if you get this case. Now, cable management was great with really no flaws. The cutouts on the bottom of the case near the PSU were big enough to easily get cables through. When mounting the radiator on the front, as well as the case fans, I was able to take off a panel with a thumb screw to make it easier to just get in there, which is really nice. I easily removed the 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch drive bays that I didn't really need with just thumb screws and took them out. If you're building this and want to pack it tightly, or if you're just a new PC builder and want a really smooth process, you really can't go wrong here with the ease of build. Now, as far as space, I had a 360mm radiator mounted on the front in addition to the case fans, and it had just enough space for a 3080 in there. You might be able to fit a 4090 with that radiator, but if you're like top mounting your radiator, no problem. You can fit a 4090 or basically any graphics card in there, but it is gonna be fairly close if you do have a bigger graphics card plus that radiator up front. But with that, let's talk about the compatibility here. You can fit two 140mm fans on the top, as well as obviously 120mm fans, either 140mm or 120mm fans for the rear exhaust mount, which is awesome. And for the front of the case, you can either fit three 120s or two 140s. I do really wish that they could just give you a little more space and fit three 140s. Now, as for the radiators, you can fit up to a 240 on top and a 360 in the front, but you will need to remove those 3.5-inch drive bays. And obviously on the front, you will also be able to fit a 280mm if you want. For SSD and hard drive mounts, you have a removable 2.5-inch SSD mounting plate, but not the brackets, which are a little bit nicer, but not a big deal. You also have a removable 3.5-inch drive bay, which can fit two 3.5-inch hard drives. So there you go. Overall, if you want a more premium quiet case with name brand 140mm fans and some really cool included RGB, a great ease of use build, it's honestly so hard to go wrong with the Be Quiet Pure Base 500DX. Again, if you want to check out this exact same product, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. And if you want to check out my main channel with longer form content, you can check that out right here. But this is a consumer tech review high speed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.